There are places where silence is merely the absence of sound, and then there are places like Hollow Hills where silence is a warning. After the old man vanished, Zayan began to notice how quickly the town closed ranks. It wasn't loud. There were no meetings, no announcements, no whispered rumors in public spaces. Life simply adjusted. By the third day, it was as though the man had never existed. Zayan tried to bring him up casually at the diner, mentioning an elderly resident who used to sit outside in the evenings. The waitress frowned politely and shook her head, telling him he must be mistaken. Hollow Hills hadn't had an old man living alone on that street in years. The message was unmistakable. Sympathy was a crime here, and memory was optional. That night, Zayan didn't sleep. He sat by the window, watching the street the way the town had been watching him. Every passing shadow felt intentional, every distant sound deliberate. He thought about the old man's words in the library, the fear in his eyes, the way he'd rushed out as if chased by something only he could see. Curiosity doesn't bring answers here, it brings replacements. Zayan understood now. Kate hadn't just disappeared, she had been chosen. The next morning, Elena arrived earlier than usual. She didn't knock. She never did anymore. She simply stepped inside like someone who already belonged there, her eyes scanning the room out of habit rather than concern. "You didn't stop," she said quietly, her eyes falling on the map spread across the table. Zayan lifted his head. "And I will not." He looked in her eyes. Elena could clearly see strong determination and refusal to surrender in his eyes. The determination in him startled Elena. Kate's disappearance hadn't broken Zayan. It had ignited something deep within him. With every passing hour, he was becoming more relentless, more dangerous. Elena felt a tightening in her chest. She wasn't sure if she was worried about Zayan, or about the people she had once reported his every move to. She didn't know, or perhaps she didn't want to admit it. "That's how it works," she said finally. "Once someone crosses a line, the town closes the book on them. No loose ends." Zayan stared at her. "And you know this how?" Elena hesitated, just long enough to be human. "Because my father crossed that line too." She told him things she'd never said out loud before. Not about the disappearance itself, but about what came after the silence. The way neighbors avoided her, the sudden emptiness where her father's name used to be. The way the town didn't mourn, because mourning acknowledged loss, and loss acknowledged guilt. "They don't worship something ancient," she said. "They protect something ongoing." That was when Zayan realized something chilling. This wasn't a ritual that happened every 90 days. It was a system that required it. Over the following week, they moved carefully. Zayan stopped asking questions in public. Elena stopped leading him directly, and instead asked questions of her own, letting him believe the conclusions were his. Together, they mapped the town not as it appeared, but as it functioned: who avoided whom, which paths people refused to walk after dark, which houses always went dark at the same time each night. Patterns emerged. Every disappearance aligned with a specific boundary in the woods. Every victim had crossed it, knowingly or not. One evening, as the sun bled into the tree line, Elena and Zayan searched the woods to the edge of that boundary. The forest there felt wrong, not wild, but contained, as if it were holding its breath. "This is where they watch from," Zayan said. Zayan felt his chest tighten. "And Kate?" "She would have been taken past this point," Elena whispered. Zayan took another step forward. Elena caught his arm. She knew what lay beyond this point, and that no one crossed it twice. "We should turn back," she said urgently. "If we go any further, we'll draw attention." "We're not prepared. Not yet." Zayan clenched his jaw. Walking away felt like betrayal, but deep down he knew she was right. After a long moment, he turned back. The path ahead remained silent, waiting. That night, Elena didn't go home. She walked instead toward the deeper woods, farther than she ever had with Zayan. The air grew colder, heavier, pressing against her skin like a warning she had heard all her life. At the edge of the clearing, she stopped and spoke into the darkness the way she always did, reporting what she knew, what she had seen. But this time, her voice faltered. "He's closer than we expected," she said. "He's figuring out the boundaries." The old man slowed him, but not enough. The shadows listened. A presence shifted at the edge of the clearing, unseen but unmistakable. When it spoke, its voice was calm, almost disappointed. Then you will have to stop what he started, Elena swallowed. And if I can't? There was a pause, not silence, but consideration. Then you will replace him. A firm order in a cold tone stroked with her ears. Elena returned to town, her face composed, her steps steady. When Zayan saw her the next morning, he noticed the change immediately. Not fear, but resolve. They're accelerating, she told him. The next 90 days won't matter. Zayan frowned. What do you mean? I mean, she said, meeting his eyes, I feel they know you're coming. Somewhere deep in Hollow Hills, something ancient shifted its attention. The town had watched long enough, and now it was ready to act. Because in Hollow Hills, the truth doesn't set you free, it marks you. And the closer Zayan came to finding his sister, the closer he came to becoming the town's next correction.